Loblaw is announcing that they will pilot a new ultra discount grocery store. They say they will deliver even lower prices. But how? Let's find out with Sylvain Charlebois. You know him as the food professor out there at Dalhousie University. Sylvain, welcome back to the program.
Well, thank you.
Give me the plan here. So No Name, right? I think all Canadians know that brand when it comes to products in the grocery store, No Name. Tell me what the plan is here for Loblaws.
Yeah, so I actually had the pleasure to talk to Per Bank, the CEO of Loblaw. I think it was on Wednesday, on the eve of their announcement, and I was able to ask him some pointed question about the why. I mean, why now? Why these stores? So the plan is to start a pilot, opening up 3 stores in Ontario: Brockville, St. Catharines, and Windsor. About 10,000 square feet. No fridge, no freezers, just shelf-stable products. 60% of these products would be $5 or less. All of them would be private label, No Name or President's Choice. So if you're hearing me, you can guess why they're doing this. They're aiming at 2 rivals, Dollarama and Giant Tiger. That's basically what they're doing, and it's a very flexible model. You're basically committing to a small room. Well, 10,000 square feet is small for the grocery business. It's not like a Maxi, which is huge. And so I think that's what they're trying to do with that particular model.
Well, to me, Sylvain, it makes perfect sense. We've seen it in the Dollarama quarterlies, right? More and more Canadians are going to a store like Dollarama for grocery shopping. And I imagine if you're Loblaws, you're saying, wait a minute, we can do that as well as some other guys.
Yeah, no, exactly, and so I think it's pretty clear in their strategy. The other issue is theft. To be honest, theft has been an issue in the industry, and when you don't have fresh, if you don't carry any fresh, it's less tempting for burglars, basically. So they think it's actually going to help. The other thing that I heard from Per Bank that surprised me a little bit was that for the first time, they're not afraid of cannibalizing themselves, and this is the problem in the industry. Lots of grocers are territorial. They do not want to open up a new stores if they think they can steal sales from themselves. But in this case, for Windsor, St. Catharines, and Brockville, they likely will steal sales from themselves, but they're not afraid of that anymore. So, which means that, within probably a year or so, maybe less, you could start seeing some of these stores in Quebec, not in Montreal, because Montreal is too big of a market, I think. That model is for small towns or smaller towns like Candiac, Chambly, Trois-Rivières, Drummondville. Those are probably cities that Loblaw would be aiming for this particular store.
Sylvain, to me, another interesting thing about this, when they describe how they're going to outfit the stores, and it's like they're reusing shelves, and they're gonna make sure that they don't spend a lot of money bringing the stores up there. I think it also highlights for me how some people don't realize when you go through the aisles of a store, how that store is set up affects the price of goods.
Oh my goodness!
So like in Quebec, right? You can keeping with Loblaws in mind, you buy the same item at Pharmaprix or Provigo or Maxi, or let's say this new store that opens. It'll be same company, 4 different prices because of the environment. I don't know if you could just tell our listeners just how important the things that matter that lead to prices being cheaper or more expensive when it comes to how stores are built.
I thought it was obvious. It was obvious to me. It's the experience, the setup, how it's marketed, the shelf space, because you have to think about a grocery store like real estate, right? They actually sell shelf space and things like that, but in some stores they just don't, and it affects prices. The fact that you have more people serving you, that costs money. I thought it was obvious, but I guess when you go on social media, people think that every single retailer in the entire world should be selling the one product at the same price. But to me, that would be super concerning because it means they would be either price fixing or price control, and that's not what you want at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sylvain, the other thing I want to discuss here, and you touched on it when you were explaining how the store is going to work. I think there's an advantage for Loblaws, and that is so No Name and President's Choice. I think those are two brands that have consumer confidence. I know personally, I think President's Choice is fantastic, right? That's my perception. And I think that's an advantage for Loblaws. If you're going up against Dollarama, my perception at times is I don't know about the quality of the Dollarama stuff, but I do know about the quality of President's Choice. Am I onto something here?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, President's Choice is one of the most well-known brands in Canada, and it's not just an advantage for Loblaw, it's the advantage for Loblaw. I don't think Metro and Sobeys can do the same. I'll be honest with you. So when you look at the no-name strategy, I don't think Metro and Sobeys can do the same.
Pull it off.
Which is why I think Loblaw is not really considering Sobeys or Metro in with this particular strategy. It's really aiming at two, I would say, new players in the food space, and that would be the dollar stores and Giant Tiger, particularly.
Wrapping up with Sylvain Charlebois, you know him as the food professor at Dalhousie University. Sylvain, one thing I want to touch on, another pilot project from Loblaws, and it's about letting cashiers sit. Tell me more. Well, this is kind of a neat thing that happened to me on Wednesday when I spoke to Per Bank, the CEO of Loblaw. I actually did write a column about why are cashiers not sitting in Canada, while when you go to Europe, most of them do sit or actually have the option. So I kind of raised the debate in a recent column in the Kane Grocer magazine, and Per Bank himself saw the article and spoke to his staff and said, why don't we actually run a pilot and see how it goes? So there are several stores in Canada now where cashiers are given the choice to either sit or stand while serving customers. Now, I don't know if there are any stores in Montreal, but I know there are 3 of them in the Atlantic, and I visited one of them last night, so it was actually kind of nice and to see that, you're read by some of the major players in the industry. Absolutely. Hey, Sylvain, listen, we know you influence things in this country when it comes to the grocery store. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That's Sylvain Charlebois, the food professor over at Dalhousie University.